Hey guys, Matt here, Broken Supercoach, checking in. It's been a long time since checking in, hasn't it? It's Tuesday night. Footy's finally wrapped up, so we're doing a video. I thought about doing a Sunday video, but it's kind of busy. Couldn't really. I figured, what's the point of a midweek one? I know a lot of people did, so probably should have, but all good. We check in now after Anzac Day, so that's all reset. And geez, we've done okay. Now, the reason I say we've done okay is because this is a non-Bont score. So 2,100 as a non-Bont owner, I think you got to be pretty happy with. If you just pretend that Bont doesn't exist. If you pretend that Bont, if you accept that Bont does exist, then it's obviously a terrible score. We've held our rank. No Bont. Geez, if you watched the video last weekend, and I trade Bont in, and then for some reason didn't keep that. I just kept Stewart for some reason. So, I mean, Stewart was fine. Bont scores nearly 200. So what can you do about that? Sadly. So anyway, we've held our rank, which is fine. Another upgrade this week, no big deal. Got a couple of guys to trade out. Another decent upgrade. Bont's probably out of range, sadly. So we just got to hope that we miss him. It is what it is. Like, we can't do anything about Bont. So let's take a look how the team. I'll do a little brief review for you. We vice captain. I know I said because I was worried about Constable being the sub, I didn't want to captain him. But once he wasn't named on emergency and all that sort of business, it was no big deal. Confirmed out, all that sort of business. So yeah, looped Laird. I was going to loop English, missed nothing there. Had the C on Dacos. Probably should have just held out. But if you get a good loop score over 120, you got to take it. Oliver I obviously steered away from because he was sick, so everyone kind of knew that he was going to drop a lowish score. It sucks for his money, but everyone owns him, so no big deal. Quickly through the line, we obviously brought in Stewart. Played rookie roulette and lost by 3 points, so not a big deal. Rookie roulette and defense was nice. Ryan's ticking along. We're loving this from him. Stewart we're pretty happy with. He went down, but only by 3,000. And Zeebel's ticking along. So in the midfield, Dawson played an interesting role. Got a little bit of attention, is what it is. We're happy with that. Neil, yeah, I'm worried about this. Worried about this because he's just going to leak money for weeks now. But, I mean, he scored a 170 the week before and then somehow doesn't break even. So explain that for a minute. And then obviously everyone had this Roberts on field. So it's really accentuated when you have Neil instead of Bont. And then you got Roberts on field, which most people do. And then you got Ron Marshall putting up these sort of stinkers that you can't do anything with. I can't stand this bloke. And I said it did I say it last year? I did too. I can't stand the bloke. I don't want him in my team. I'm pretty sure he was on my never again list, but I picked him anyway because I'm that stupid. And then the forward line just did what it did. Played rookie roulette, and yeah, obviously, I mean, you could say you lost, but it's Sheasel. What are you supposed to do? Like, Sheasel's fine. Now he's got a break even of 99, but I'm going to give him another week. I know that sounds crazy to not trade Sheasel, but I honestly think he got tagged and then scored 50 in the second half. You've got to understand he was on 0 points or on like 12 points at halftime. I was like, well, that's probably an exaggeration. He was on like 20 odd. So he did quite well in the second half. So I am a little bit concerned about what to do with Sheasel. Sheasel can get us the Bont. So we'll play around with the trades a little bit. I've had a little play before, and I've locked in what my trade will probably be. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. Because he's not going to lose a lot of money if he's averaging 100. Say he scores 80 or 90. He's not going to lose a lot of money. It's just having that sort of cash is pretty wild. Like, hasn't scored under 100, but the last two are a bit concerning. Melbourne not renowned for tagging, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. As far as who to trade goes, looks like Michael Annie's time's up. He's been awesome for us. Really nice, 175,000. Really happy with those numbers out of him. Looks like McKenna's up. He's break even 62. Looks like he's finished. Hasn't been great. Probably, I mean, he's all right. Probably should have started Wilmot over him though, but he was in the team from the start, kind of deal. So it's not a huge one. Jones and Cowan look close. Cowan's probably the one we'll send if we don't send Sheasel, just keep in mind, the moves. If we're doing 2 defenders, I've only got 1 to go back in and 1 to trade in. So we'll see how that looks. Actually, that could work. Hold Cowan for another week, maybe. And all these rookies are probably close. So we're going to have to boost this week. And then next week's going to be Phillipou. Keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on Ashcroft. She's we've got to keep an eye on. These rookies are coming up quick. So Baker seems to have reset a little bit. I should also mention I had Tom Green out. So I'm happy with holding the rank. When you don't have Bont, you have a 19 on field. You have Marshall putting up absolute dud scores, and Tom Green suspended. So we're pretty happy with that. So we'll just reset the team quickly. Put this guy back on. We'll put Oliver back where he belongs. If obviously Roberts. We're obviously happy with that starting lineup for the time being. And we're obviously happy with that. So that's how the team looks. As far as trades go, let's have a quick... There's probably not much to touch on, so let's do the trade situation. That's what everyone's here for. Everyone loves looking at the trades. So Michael Annie obviously has to go, and McKenna has to go. So that allows us to put Dawson back in, 5 defenders, and you can either do Sheasel like that. I've obviously got the boost already done. How gross is it, by the way? You press boost and it gives you a little bet thing, better or whatever. Like, get out of here. There's betting everywhere. Can we not? Anyway. A little bit of rant. Don't worry, I was about to bust into a big rant there, but don't mind me. So the original plan was Cowan. We go like that. We send Sheasel up. So then we only need 1 defender, 1 mid, and a forward. And it would look something like this. So Bont there, out of range. You can't get that with what I'm going to do here. You can't do it. So we obviously click on break even. Seamus Mitchell's obvious one. Really obvious. For some reason he comes in at forward. You sit him in defense, you have to have that. Wagner or Sturt, you probably take Wagner if he plays, just because of the DPP. I know a lot of people think he was going to be out of the team pretty quick. He doesn't look like a very good footy player for mine, but if you have to go one of these 2, I think I like the idea of Wagner. Though Sturt probably has better job security, but the DPP is handy because we don't have many defensive rookies on the boil, so the ability to have Wagner in the team, and then when we have to sub out, say, Jones next week, or perhaps it is Sheasel next week, we're not looking for a random defender. If it's Chincotta, like maybe it's Chincotta next week, so that could be good. I just don't think it is. I'm not sure. I can't remember Carlton's fitness. I just don't think his job security is very good. That said, it could be the look. Either way, it's Wagner. And then for $5.91, you can get a forward or a mid in. There's a couple of good choices. For me, I think it's Cogs. If I'm doing this, it's probably Cogs, which gives us 92k left over, which will allow us to go to Marshall to Gawn really, really easily next week, hopefully, because Gawn's the one we want to do next week. That's a hypothetical trade we could do. Which I don't mind. Cogs. You could also spend the $5.90 and get Cripps in the midfield, but I think Cogs is the go. Bargain price. I know he's one of my never again players. Or he's borderline never again, but he looks good again. 130. He's not going to score like this because Tom Green's back, but just looks decent. I don't like this run for GWS, but he has scored well against all of them except for Geelong. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. That could be it. So, the other one is not Cowan. Oh, let's reset it. Not Cornelia. That could have broken it. But the other one is also, say it's not Wagner. I'm just trying to work out how I get Sheasel back into my... this. Okay, we've got to cancel it because the trade broke it. So that's okay. When you shuffle around a lot, it does it. So let's say it is Sheasel. And then it is Michael Annie. And then it is McKenna. So if it's those. So naturally Dawson goes back, which we love. It's still Seamus Mitchell. If you take away one thing from this video, it's that Seamus Mitchell comes into your team. And now you need 2 defenders. So could you just send Constable back like this? And you can start looking at other defenders. You can still do Wagner, which I don't mind. The reason I'm not looking at O'Halloran is he's 202,000. Like, you're not putting that on your bench, and you're also not putting that on for scoring. Like you're not taking a bloke that scored 40 and then filled in for Tom Green. You're not doing that for 200,000. Like, be reasonable. Ned Long, I actually don't mind, but does that role stay with? Yeah, maybe. I don't mind Ned Long at all, but 160 again. While Wagner's on offer and playing, he comes in. And this allows us to get Bont and Pelly, which we are really happy with. How does that look on field? It means Seamus Mitchell has to play for us, which is a little bit scary. Oh, we can probably do that a little bit better. Like that. Philippou down. So we can do that, but that gives us 169 to play with. It's probably something I'm going to think about. Is 650 a good price for Bont? I think it's a pretty average price. It started at 640, 640, 620, 610, 611, 650. He'll go to 700 because of these two scores. When's their bye? Round 12. Expected to be 700. So we are making 50k perhaps. That could be the play. It does weaken the forward line a little bit. And you lose Sheasel, but now I guess my thing on Sheasel is I don't think he was, like, I know I said my 6 is done and I was going to side grade Sheasel later, but I never thought Sheasel was a keeper in defense. So I don't think that we're doing that much, like that big a crime by trading Sheasel now, if it gets you Bont. If it gets you, say, I'm just trying to think of someone else. I don't know. I think there's only one guy you can trade Sheasel for. I don't think it's that big a deal, because if he leaks 50k and suddenly he's rested, or suddenly he's, back down to 350, and you could have made that much money out of him. Yeah, I don't think it's the worst deal. Especially, it's upgrade season. You want these names, and we're only 4 weeks away from Bont coming in anyway after his bye, which, as you saw there, it's 50k in the pocket. So Sheasel might leak 50k and Bont might make 50k, and suddenly you've got to find another 100k like this. All right, so let's do that. We'll feel good about that. As far as the team goes, that's back six is looking really sturdy. We're really happy with that. Obviously, we've got Wagner if we need him to get in as well. Pretty happy with that. So defense is looking good. Sad about Roberts. I think it kind of sucks because that leaves a lot of holes on our mid-bench, but there's not much you can do about that. The other option, I guess, is you could send Dawson down for Constable. You could start one of these guys and have Wagner on the bench. I don't mind it. It's all the rookie roulette. I don't really care for it. It is what it is. I don't rage about rookie roulette ever. It's not something for me. Looks like Fergus is probably on field over Philippou at the moment, though. And that's the team. Now, so not a lot in that as far as what to do. On the horizon is something like Marshall to Gawn pretty quickly, if I'm being totally honest with you. I'd love to see what Gawn is tracking at currently. Went down 50k. As you know, on the channel, I started with Gawn. So as you know, that's what I wanted to do. What's his break even currently? Probably 200 something, 228, yeah. So we're looking at, we're looking at an under 500k Gawn in the next week or two. So we're probably looking at getting him in, say, here. So next week against Gold Coast, even if it's the week after against Hawthorn, we're paying under 400 for him. And we're making money on Marshall. Now, the difference is that Marshall's probably he's an 86 break even as well. So we want to make money. So that'll be really nice. So we expect Marshall to go really easy on Port, and then we do the swap north, because Marshall should turn up against Port, which would be good. But we can monitor that. And I guess everyone sort of wants... We'll do some captain advice. Let's have a look. So my loops here, potentially a loop there. I think you probably just slap the C on Dacos permanently now. And I think you play with some risky VCs. So do you vice Bont again? Do you vice... Yeah, Oliver was 6, so could you vice Oliver against North? Don't know. You probably vice Bont because we got him. In fact, who's the ruck? You probably vice English. He's consistent 130. So you probably do that vice, and you hope the Constable's in. If it's GWS, then I got nothing for you. I don't have a vice captain, and if I'm being honest, I won't use one. If Constable's somehow named, which he might be, he might eventually get named, then we're in strife as far as not being able to loop. But Dacos is a safe C. What did he go for? Nearly 200 against the Crows last time he played him, 163. So you'll be right. Anyway, that's the video. Thanks for watching. We'll let us know what your trade's going to be. We'll touch base in like probably a day or two, real quick, because footy starts again. And after I'm an about this trade, am I keeping Sheasel? Am I not keeping Sheasel? Hopefully, I mean, I don't want to say hopefully, but because if he gets rested, then it's an obvious trade, and that's a worry. I think we're trading Sheasel, honestly. I think we've got to get on Bont now. And I think that's more important than doing cogs. So we don't need money for Marshall to Gawn, just to ramble on a little bit more. We don't need money Marshall to Gawn if we monitor that really well. And we can quite simply get cogs in the next week anyway. We could actually probably do next week Marshall to Gawn. We could boost again. If we feel like cogs is a must get at that point, we could probably boost again. But there's probably only 2 rookies to trade next week, which will be Cowan and Baker, maybe Jones. So we've just got to earmark. It's awkward. We've got to earmark that moment when Marshall for Gawn looks good. And is it as far as their buys? Maybe. I'd hate to do that, but what, round 12 and when do Melbourne have a bye? I know this is some forward planning, but this is how you got to play. Round 14 bye, so not really. We can't wait on Gawn that long. So, do we though? Do we just go Marshall out of his bye and then throw Gawn in, but then you get the extra game you miss round 14? Anyway, it's no real benefit. If it was the other way, maybe. All right. Yeah, that's probably enough. Anyway, see you guys soon.